Hey, it's Arlen Schweiger, editor of CE Pro Magazine, and today I'm joined by Margaret Block, Luxury Shades Business Development Manager at Lutron, and she's with me to talk about the increasingly important automated shades and window treatments category. So, Margaret, thank you so much for joining me in CE Pro.
Yes, thanks, Arlen. It's great to be here.
Well, one thing I'll say is it was great to visit Lutron's booth at the recent CEDIA Expo. You guys had new experience rooms there that were clearly a hit at the show. And also, just before that, you opened up this brand new, stunning Los Angeles design studio. So, Margaret, just for starters, can you tell us a bit about how big of a role shading played in those spaces?
Yeah, absolutely. CEDIA was a lot of fun this year. We debuted a brand new booth design, and so it really allowed us to accentuate the experience that people have with Lutron solutions when you combine lighting and shading and controls all in one space. So, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, we basically had two separate experiences. One was focused more on a gallery that helped show how lighting can really accent artwork and can be used to accent different architectural elements. It did incorporate some shades. You can see how daylight would affect that. And then the second space was more of a retreat space and focused more on well-being and how access to daylight and really comforting lighting can impact the look and feel of a space. And we had this gorgeous sweeping drapery track that just enveloped the entire room. We had palladium shades going up and down in response to different light levels, and it was really fun. Lots of guided tours, and we had people that also came in and could kind of play with all the different devices and see how it worked.
Great. And I know that in the design studio that you just came out with, again, shading and lighting really go hand in hand in that space. And there was also artwork and things like that. What were some of the decisions made to include shading with the lighting in the LA Experience Center?
Yeah, good question. So we basically, we have centers all over the country, and we really focus a lot on creating that experience. And so our new LA design studio, it's right in downtown LA, so very accessible. And it really allows us to show both the magic of Ketra, but also how shades kind of contribute to that. So that space also utilized drapery really beautifully in this very dramatic sweeping fashion. There were a lot of windows there that had to be covered, but they kind of worked in concert with roller shades because we had to manage a lot of the light. So we actually had 3 layers of window treatments in that design space. So there was a blackout roller shade that was installed in side channels to really block all of the light coming in. Then we showed palladium shades over the top, so you can get that really decorative sheer element there with an exposed roll, and then drapery just adds some drama to it at the end. It's a beautiful
Right.
space.
And just like with lighting and lighting fixtures and lighting controls, the shades really they're applicable to very different things that installers can do in those spaces. So just like you were showing at the CEDIA Expo with the different rooms, whether it was well-being or highlighting artwork and things like that, how are some of Lutron's latest solutions basically addressing those different applications?
Yeah, so we kind of try to focus in our experience spaces on how integrators can deliver that wow moment, right? How do you really impress your clients and make them just so happy to come home at the end of the day, right? And so we think both lighting and shades impacts that. And on the shade side, we've seen a couple trends over the last couple years emerge that we've been really focused on and helping our integrators deliver. And one of them is really the ability to be flexible, right? So a lot of the times we think, automated window treatments, let's get a wire to that window. And that's great when you can, right? When you're there early enough on a project, new construction, walls are open, you're working with the builder, the architect, it's all kind of coming together. You've got space in a pocket that's recessed. That's a beautiful solution. But that's just not all, the case all the time. And so we want to make sure that integrators have a full portfolio of shade styles, whether they have wire to the window or not. So over the last couple of years, we've launched several wire-free innovations. Palladium wire-free at the beginning of last year, I think that was, really allowed people to mount a super thin profile shade anywhere. So inside mount in the window, on top of the trim, across sliding doors, very easy to add to any room. And then this year we announced our new triathlon. It's a wire-free Roman shade fabrication kit. And I'm really excited about this because not only is it wire-free, so you get the same performance, reliability, industry-leading 3 to 5 year battery life with this, as you do with our other roller shades, but it addresses another trend that we're seeing recently, which is that desire for more personalization, right? More customization, unique aesthetics on your window. And I think we've seen kind of a movement towards that over the last couple of years versus in the past, it was a lot of clean lines, very simple, kind of blending in with the decor. And now we're seeing folks looking for that drama, right? Looking to add that touch of a really unique aesthetic to the window. And Roman shades, I mean, the fabrics are limitless, right? It allows for a really nice collaborative opportunity for integrators and designers. So designers can have that whole palette of fabrics at their fingertips, and integrators can come in and add that element of technology and just make it really nicely integrate into any home.
Right. So there are definitely a lot of ways installers can talk to their customers about shades. Like you said, the different types, uh, different applications for them. But there's also a lot of technical details with it in terms of measurements and things like that. So, some dealers who maybe are just entering the category or looking to grow in the category, how does Lutron help them out to sort of take that maybe intimidation factor out or help them grow their business with, more education, trainings, anything like that that you're able to help them with, including the design aspect, basically helping foster relationships with integrators and designers. How is Lutron supporting its dealers?
Yeah, that's a great question because it can seem very complicated sometimes, right? And being at Lutron, we've worked with dealers and integrators really trying to engage them with the automated window treatments for over 20 years now. So we've tried a lot of things and learned a lot of things. And I think the biggest thing is what Lutron kind of provides is the ability for an integrator to step into this category and have a product that just works, right? That's what most people say when they say, well, what's your feedback or opinion of Lutron? Well, the product just works. And that's true of shades. And that's so important to integrators because they're managing a lot of things on a job, right? There's the project management element, there's fluctuating timelines and delivery dates. There's a lot of different trades on large projects. And it's really important that once a product goes in, it operates flawlessly, right? And so that's kind of our promise and what we focus on in all of our categories, but shades as well. And I think some of the other things we're doing is we're taking a hard look at training, right? So many of these integrators are coming at the shading category with different goals and different expectations. Some folks are looking to outfit an entire home with automated shades, right? They're doing a full control or home control system, lighting everywhere, and adding shades is just kind of the additional piece on there to make everything come together. And other integrators are looking to add just a couple shades to a room, right? Maybe they're doing a new viewing experience, a home theater application. They just need a couple shades. They want to keep it kind of small and easy. So we want to provide training and support resources that help both of those avenues. So with Lutron, you can kind of start slow with shades. You can get access to kind of a smaller portfolio of products that are intended to be easier to measure, easier to install, a simplified portfolio of fabrics. Or you can decide that you want to start off and you want the whole portfolio, angled shades, curved drapery tracks, like everything. And so we really kind of try to present both options and support both options fully, depending on how they're coming into this.
I was going to say with the types of rooms that you're showing and demonstrating at the CEDIA Expo, is some of that support how you are helping dealers implement those kind of designs or vignettes in their own showroom so that they can better converse with customers on all the possibilities?
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? Is how do you help tell this story? And so we have a number of demos and showroom installation solutions to help show off shades. But we also just launched this luxury experience app. I don't know if you've seen it. We debuted it at CEDIA. Basically, it's this really immersive virtual solution that lets you kind of take a picture of your view or your window and superimpose a fabric over the top so you can see what different colors do, what different opacities do to your view. It also gives folks the opportunity, if they can't get to one of our experience centers, to put a shade style over the window and see how the light comes in, right? See what that window treatment does to the light coming into the space. So really cool, immersive digital experience to help folks that may not have a showroom or may not have those demos available to them.
I did see that app, and it is very, very cool.
Cool.
Definitely a great thing for dealers to use to show off the experience. So, lastly, Margaret, one of the things that we're always trying to help our readers with, and I'm sure the same thing that Lutron is trying to do with their dealers, is help them see possibilities for where they're losing out on potential revenue. So, just kind of piggybacking off the last question about support. Where does Lutron see that dealers can, add a bit more revenue on projects? Where are they leaving money on the table when it comes to shade sales and designs and all that, and potential, pitfalls that they can overcome?
Yeah, I think a lot of this comes down to how we approach the opportunity for shades. I think so many integrators, go into these projects and have particular solutions in mind. And I think we're always encouraging them to ask, have you thought about what you're doing for your window treatments? Because sometimes out of the blue, folks don't think that your shade or your daylight solution, whatever it is actually going to be impactful to changing the look and feel of your space. And we know that it is. So all we want to do is help people feel comfortable just saying, have you thought about automating a shade that's going in here would really impact your viewing experience, or really change the way you use this room, right? Or change the way you entertain in the space. And simply asking and getting folks to kind of think about the possibilities there is really where we want this to head.
Right. And then I imagine that also goes for the different ways that they can sort of pitch that discussion with customers in terms of things like energy savings and privacy, security, all that. Does that go into it as well?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the time, right, depending on the other aspects of the project, you can kind of pick up hints on which of those value propositions would most apply to shades, right? So if you're putting a security system in, how can shades help add to the privacy element of your home, right? If you're putting in any sort of HVAC improvements, how can you look at a window treatment as a way of adding almost another pane of glass to the insulation of your home, especially when they're automated and can go up and down on time clocks. So there's a lot that can be done in the shade category. It's just kind of how you integrate it into the conversation with the client.
Yeah, it's certainly a vastly growing category right now, and there's lots of excitement going on with the category. So again, Margaret Block from Lutron, thank you so much for joining me. Lutron has definitely been a specialist in this category for a long time. So we appreciate your time in providing the insights into how dealers can grow their businesses more through shades.
Yep. Thanks, Arlen. Thanks for the time today.